Good morning. I'm here to talk to you about the key importance I'm here to talk and demonstrate the key of blocking in football and why it's important and how not to get a penalty. So the first thing importance with throwing a good block in football is your stance, and your stance has everything to do with it. So most guys who are blockers in the game of football start from a 3-point stance, and that is, let me back up here. That is where you're gonna keep your feet shoulder width apart. Then you're gonna crouch down, chest out, and then you're gonna put your dominant hand on the ground. But make sure do not put all your weight on the dominant hand, as that will, because that will make you off balance. All your weight should be on the heels of your feet and in your glutes. So your feet should be flat on the ground. So if someone comes up and moves my hand, I don't move. You can tell that if you put too much weight on your front hand and someone moves your hand, you're gonna fall over. So you're gonna want to have somebody come over here and do that, move your hand up, and ultimate goal is to stay like this. And that's the key, is a proper stance. And then when the whistle is blown, you want to fire out low. When you hear that whistle, just the whistle sound, stay low, have your hands up, and when you're coming around, engage like that, and keep your head up. And then when you engage your target, you keep like this, you keep driving. So you want the hands to be right in here, right in this area of the chest plate. And on Monday or Wednesday, whenever I present, I'll have somebody else so I can do that. You're gonna want to keep your hands here, because now that your hands are up in here, the referees cannot see you grabbing here. They really can't, because then you bring in closer and they're not going to see that. You're not going to call for a penalty. But now if you are out here grabbing here, they're going to see that penalty. Out here, penalty. If you're turned around, even a slight push in the back, it's a penalty. And holding penalties are 10 yards, along with blocking the back penalties are 10 yards. And then a block I talked about is a chop block. So when I have somebody else here with me, it'll be easier to demonstrate. But you start out as your 3-point stance if you're a lineman, and you're going to lock on to somebody and he's bigger than you. What you do is you want to go down. Don't dive at his knees, because then they're going to call that on you and you're going to get flagged 15 yards. But you go for this area, just like a rip block like that, low, and keep your head up, and then he's going to go down and he's going to fall on you, and that's perfectly legal. But if you do that, if the lineman's going low and somebody comes up to go high on the guy, like a collision, then that's going to get called for targeting, something that I talked about, and you're going to get flagged 15 yards for that, and that's not going to look good for you or your team. But yeah, so you start out in your stance, in your 3-point stance, and hand on the ground, check it, you're good. You have to wait for the whistle. Always keep low, and you take your dominant foot should be a little bit in front of your non-dominant foot, and then when the whistle's blown, here, and then walk out, here, and then chop your feet. And no matter what, you never stop chopping your feet, because if you stop, two rules: you stay low, back straight, arms out in front, and chop your feet, and you never stop chopping your feet, because if you stop chopping your feet and you stand up, you're going to get blown back. And then pass blocking is another term of blocking, which people have seen, where you stay up and you stay back. And like in our team for high school and in Southern Dutchess, we did from a 3-point stand. In the NFL, they do more 2 points, but I'm talking from a high school perspective. We would do a 3-point stance. So you snap, you get up to the line of scrimmage, get in your stance, head up, look around, and then when the ball is snapped, you get up and you stay back and you chop your feet and you form a pocket around the quarterback. And if anybody keeps coming in, you got to do that, and you cannot go downfield, because then that will be called on you, ineligible member downfield, and that'll be a 10-yard penalty, and that won't look good. And then you have reach blocks, which you which are, are difficult because you got to get out and kind of hook the guy around and seal him off, because you're going to be running to the outside and there's extra guys on the end, and I've seen them do this in our team with the tackles. They have to do that. They get down, then the ball is snapped, so then they have to go around and come around and practically wall off the defender. And you cannot go like this, because then if you grab him around his waist, when I have somebody here, it's going to be easier to show you. When you do this, you grab him here, that's going to get called a holding, and that's going to be a 10-yard penalty. And your coach isn't going to like that. Thank you.